welcome back to the RationalInvestor.com Broiler Chicken Show. Trade your trading plans, don't take too much risk on any one trade, and just let yourself get rich. Hello everyone, welcome back to the RationalInvestor.com's Broiler Chicken Show. Back. Here we are, I guess, halfway through the month of June. And unfortunately, this is usually a nasty little window here in crypto, and what a big surprise. This year's now very similar to all the other years gone by. It's quite remarkable how consistent this stuff is. Even in theoretically a bull market state, still this. I don't know. Does anybody have any new respect for Brian's birthday? Do you now appreciate? Probably new people. Where's Jimmy and Liz there? I bet you they're probably going, son of a bitch, this guy was right. So quite remarkable how nobody seems to clue in on this stuff in this crypto space. They're just mindless idiots. I mean, no offense. I should probably not talk like that. But anyway, pretty business as usual. Nothing really out of the ordinary. The problem here, though, of course, is that you have to be patient and disciplined in this game. And if you want to buy low and sell high and prices are high, well, you got to just sit there and do nothing. I don't know whether a lot of you can actually do that or not. I know I've been working with people for 10 years in this space. I've seen people literally become quote unquote, hey, I'm a millionaire now. And then they watch the market melt back down, and it's like, did you take any profits? Did you pay yourself? Did you establish risk-free trades? Hopefully now all you guys appreciate the significance of things like sell half on a double and de-risk yourself from the trade. It's boring, I suppose. It's very contrarian, because sadly what it means is you're selling into other people's euphoria. And, actually it's interesting, I put all these sort of bearish commentary and stuff out on social media and stuff. And it's quite remarkable to see the emotional response from, like the princes of Nigeria, Gucci sweater wearers. Wonder where that guy is right now. I bet you he's sweating bullets. Yeah, well, even my business partners, I have one business partner that I think is an absolutely brilliant crypto analyst, and he understands the fundamental stories behind these names. But even his names, they're not going to go straight up. It's just not the way capitalism works. And if you do have an asset that goes straight up, you better be careful. Don't chase. Don't do stupid things. I built this education program 10 years ago. Actually even longer than that, because actually I was even sharing with the community the original user manual for the education program that I wrote back in 2013. And I was a little bit surprised. I did a pop quiz on one of the daily shows that we do on the site, the after party, after our quick sort of public summary video that we do Monday to Friday. And did just a simple pop quiz. It's page 1 of that user manual that like I said, I wrote it 13 years ago. No, 11 years ago. 11, 12, somewhere in there. And it's just as relevant then as it is today, or it's just as relevant today. as it was then. I mean, nothing's changed, and nothing ever does change with this silly investing game. And really, this is if anything, what you have to learn. And if you don't know this, I mean, let's just do a quiz. Especially these free shows. There's some people that Jesus, they literally teach themselves how to trade and how to become investment managers just watching my free shows. Mr. PM. So I'm never going to forget that first rule now, eh? There you go. Man, I got pretty upset at the community. I was a little pissed off there that nobody could answer what is Brian's first rule of investing. And I only have 2 rules of investing. There's only 2. I mean, you can't, I'm not asking you to memorize a whole goddamn book. It's only 2 rules of investing. Anyway, what should all of you have right in front of you while you're watching this? And if you're watching this after the fact, the good part about this, I'll start the video broadcast off with this. The good part about me, and I don't know why it's the case, is that if you're watching these videos after the fact, you can put me on like 1.5 speed. I don't know, for some reason, you can still understand what I say at that higher rate of viewing. Some people, when I try to watch even at 1.25 speed, you can't understand what the hell they're saying. So that's the one good part about me, is that you can sort of speed this up, save yourself some time. We usually do these shows about an hour and a half, an hour and 45 minutes or so, and then I head off to my real job. And if you all want to just take a moment and give us a karmic wish of good luck when I'm out on the road with Lily, I tell you, the sad part about my country is it's literally turning into a third world shithole. And half the people driving on the roads right now are from the third world, where I don't even know how these people learn how to drive. I mean, it's just horrific. And it's like literally turning into third world driving. People break the fucking rules of the road right, left, and center all over the place. And of course, the politicians in my country have completely gutted the system for their stupid woke agendas, that we can't even afford to pay police to actually do the job. And so as a result, all these people that who knows where the hell they learned how to drive, some Kazakhstan or something. Man, it's incredible how dangerous the roads are now, which is so sad, because that's the one thing Liam really likes, is he just, if any of you have any autistic kids, and actually, Jimmy and Liz, exactly what the life that I live. The one thing that Liam absolutely loves that can calm him down when he's going right off the deep end is we just hop in the car, put on some nice music that he likes. Daddy talk or no talk? No talk, all done talk. I hear that a lot in my life. So you can understand why I talk so much on these videos and on the site and stuff. Because when I'm with Liam, I'm not allowed to talk. All done talk. He hasn't got to the point where he says, "Daddy, shut up." So I suppose that's a good thing. But what's so funny is when I'm singing away songs, that, because I play music, of course, that I like too. He'll just sit there and he'll go, "Shh," and that's his polite message of going, I don't like you singing, Dad. I like the music. So shut the fuck up. Anyway. So best wishes for us on the road. I appreciate it. Can shitistan that we live in here now. This is turning into a very dangerous place, and lots of violence. The violence in this country, woo-wee, it's going through the roof. So sad. Anyway, that's not why you're here. You're here to learn how to trade, make better decisions trading. I suppose that's what I'm trying. Actually, if anything, I'd be curious to see what you guys actually think is the biggest benefit of listening to a guy like me. I always tell people that I mean, you all know, I'm not going to tell you what to buy or sell. I don't really care what you buy or sell. I have no vested interest one way or another. Although I will say that I'm hearing a lot of people, including even on this site today, but I'm hearing a lot of people say, Brian, you got to get a fund up and running. Because if anything, the current market state, this is an absolutely perfect analogy where Gucci sweater wearers, these are the people that are theoretically the experts in the space, and people are just getting absolutely destroyed. And yet, our little fund, because I force myself to take profits when these things jump up, and I diversify, although I don't have the page up here. I think we're still running a healthy, profitable balance for the year on our little fund. So I don't have any concerns with regard to that. Where do I have that? So many pages here. I don't even know which one it is. Is it this one? Crypto. Geez, I can't wait till I can talk to you guys about this page on a daily basis. This is there's so much. It's interesting, actually, Chris. I was asking Chris earlier, what should we talk about? And he said, well, there is this one name, Ton. It's just rocking and rolling. You can see how it's just dramatically outperforming everybody else. Most of the crypto space is just dying 1,000 deaths. But our little crypto FA, actually, Stuart doesn't like to put numbers on his crypto FA portfolio just because they're fairly large size numbers. But so we should get like percentages going on that. That would be really cool. But I do give you percentages and actually even dollar figures. I even told Stuart that we do have a bit of cash sitting here. I've been just sitting here doing nothing on this portfolio. But I told him over the past week I would into month end. I'd like to go and pick up some more of these names and sort of like, the ones that we banged out doubles on, go and buy them back. They're the ones with all these really small balances. And I'd actually like to get them back up a little bit bigger, getting ready for the next cycle. But even now here with this market pullback, we're still sitting about 112% returns. There's nothing wrong with that. But the key here is that I diversify. I mean, actually, we would have been doing a lot better, but I totally fucked up in that I let some dickhead steal $3,000 from me. What a loser. So anyway, I mean, it happens in this space, but it's interesting that we started the fund with 10 G's, and before I made that complete fuck up, and excuse my French, demonetized, Google hates me, blah, blah, blah. We are sitting basically on 3,000 USDC, 3,000 USDT. And then we also have these Frax shares, which are basically like a stable coin. There was 3,200 in that. So to all intents and purposes, we were basically sitting on $10,000. And our starting balance was $10,000. So talk about playing from a position of strength. Everything here that you see, except for Brian had some loser, crypto dickhead steal my money from me. But everything here technically is basically the market's money. So then they say, well, doesn't that mean that you stole it from the market? No, because I made this legit. I didn't have someone steal it. And that's even including some absolute dogs. I mean, I put like the better part of one Ethereum when it was like $1,500 into this Ubic, and wow, what a train wreck this Ubic has been. But if anything, that's the whole point of this exercise, is that you can have train wrecks. There's also this DREP that we put some money on. I don't know whether it's DREP or DREG. I got to touch base with Zug. I don't think I have the symbol right, but that one also blew up. So it's just a good example that if you play the game correctly, and it doesn't look like the price of this coin is being reported correctly, well, that's kind of weird, because I even had a meeting with Sjord to make sure that these were being reported correctly. And we even fixed it on the spreadsheet. So I'm not quite sure why that's still reporting erroneously. But anyway, the point that I guess I'm trying to make is that it's really, really important in this game of speculating that you play from a position of strength. You pay yourself, when the market gives you the ability to do so. De-risk yourself, as you see, we started with 10 G's. Of course, I can't help it that people steal money from me. But had I not had that happen, I could actually show you that we were sitting on the better part of 10 G's. Right now, as it is, just between the USDT, and of course, that's an issue unto itself that you saw we wrote up about in the newsletter. We'll see what happens with that. If anything, into the month end, I'd like to have all of this USDT spent up here so we don't get caught if that thing blows up on us at the end of the month. But even now, right, 3,000 plus this 3,200 in these fracks, that's 6,200. So, we're sitting on quite a pile of sort of dry powder. And really, that's what you have to do in this game, is you have to play from a position of strength. Maybe it doesn't mean my portfolio goes up 100x, but the irony of it all, and I'd just be curious if you guys even know what the correct answer is, but what's a typical market expectation from a really, really good fund manager on Wall Street? What's a typical rate of return of the S&P 500 stock market's kind of idea? Yeah, I know the FXS definitely looks bearish. Yeah. Yeah, it's basically it's 11%. That's usually what the average rate of return is, and it's supposed to be like 8% capital gains and 3% dividends, right? Which takes you to 11. And then if you're an all-star fund manager, you should be able to do like 20% or somewhere in that area, Kevin, like good number. If you can actually show year after year after year banging out 20% return, man, Wall Street will throw all the money in the world at you. And Peter Lynch, he was famous for quoting, if you can do better than 30% annualized rate of return, you beat like 90% of all investors ever. So, with that kind of thinking, it's ironic that I actually get chastised in this space because I do things like sell half on a double and my rate of return is only 100%. It's like I actually get shit on in this space for, well, you're only doubling your money, Brian. I mean, come on, you can do a lot better than that. It's so funny how schizophrenic this market is. Because when the fucking market goes racing up, you got and everybody should remember Three Arrows Capital, right? Remember that for the rest of your lives. That is the absolute perfect analogy. Yeah, I mean, this is so dumb. Where the narrative is you should be doing 100x, but the problem is these guys, they do 100x. And then look at me, I'm crypto genius. Of course, I'm not going to sell anything because I don't want to pay taxes. And then the whole damn thing collapses, and they're right back at scratch again, as if nothing happened. I mean, it's almost comical the way this game works. So anyway, so I'm perfectly fine with my performance. Perfectly fine with my performance. Totally happy. And if anything, like I said, I think it's about time we get an actual professional fund up and running. In fact, I absolutely love our big portfolio, our crypto FA portfolio. This fund has done very, very well. Although Stuart, I don't know what it is. He won't even for the site itself, he won't come out and tell people the amount of money that is under management. I'm not quite sure why. But I would definitely say that this fund, this portfolio, this larger fund, it's fallen quite a bit in value over the past few weeks. But that's exactly what's supposed to happen. This whole thing is it's ebb and flow. It's like the tide. Tide comes in, tide goes out. Tide comes in, tide goes out. You got to make damn sure when tide comes in, right? Then and you see your names go zooming up that you pay yourself. And one thing that I requested of Stewart was that he try and make sure that he gets those risk-free positions. So free position established, free position established, free position established, free position established. That's exactly what you want to see. And then you just simply sit on the market's money. You got your original balance. Maybe you go and find new names to park new money into, but just make damn sure that when the market affords you the opportunity to get yourself into a free position, you do. Then if the market falls apart, so fucking what? It's not that big of a deal. This is my a bit more conservative. And as I said, at the very top of the market, people make fun of me. Those Three Arrows Capital people specifically said, don't sell half on a double. Of course, I'm the only person saying it's a good idea to sell half on a double. So they're making a direct reference to me. Buy more. Now, I'd just be curious for anybody who doesn't know Three Arrows Capital, could you guys all in the lounge who do know, what happened to Three Arrows Capital? Starts with a B, ends with a T. It's one of those big words. It's only 2 syllables, though. Wonder what grade school you're supposed to learn that from. But if you force yourself to do things like sell half on a double, thank you, PM. Butchered. Not quite. There you go. They got Red Lobstered. I like that. That's a good one. Poor old Red Lobster, eh? Jesus. If I understand correctly, their unlimited shrimp feast bankrupted them. I wonder if Three Arrows Capital had an unlimited feast. I don't know. I think we started to see that sort of situation fall apart for, I think it was CRV, if I'm not mistaken. It's a really good anecdote that you never know which of these names are going to blow up from one cycle to the next. I mean, I hate to say it, but at the very top of the market, everybody was absolutely in love with that Do Kwon guy. And, he had, talk about a cult following. Holy crap. That this is a tragic story, and it really upsets me because the only reason why I did this was because I honestly believe Spirit told me that, and they basically spoke through Jojo, that I had the opportunity to make a positive difference in this world. So that's the only reason why I'm doing this. In fact, I even said this morning in the lounge, just so you understand how consistent I am here. Nothing ever changes with me. If anything, it might be a symptom of like autism on myself, like I could be on the spectrum. But it's the exact same thing that I say to everybody every single year that I do this. Nothing ever changes. I'll just even read to you just so you know I'm not some sort of hypocrite. Exactly what we were talking about here this morning. Of course, we were talking a little bit about Tetherfud, and of course, we were talking about our favorite banksters. This guy's going to eat us all together. But a little bit lower here, I even said, asking people to wish me. In fact, this person was like, I don't think I'll be able to make the show, so I'm going to give you early best wishes for you and Liam. And I just, said, money, ironically enough, is actually relatively meaningless to a guy like me. I need enough to get by, but I don't really need that much more. The only aspiration that I have is I'd really like to go and buy a house for my son. I suppose I could and take on a horrendous mortgage, become like a debt slave, but I really don't want to live that life. So I'm just saving up my money until I can actually go buy a house with cash. But I'm living, and this is exactly how I feel, people. You need to understand this. And the message has never changed. All I am living for now is if when it's my time and I stand in front of my maker, he, she, they, it, whatever my maker is, I don't think any of us really know. They say, Brian, you tried your best and you did make a positive difference in this world you were put into. That's the only thing that matters. I mean, it might sound stupid, it might sound shallow, I don't know. But it's the message that I just constantly tell people. So try to reach out to as many people like on this YouTube pages, and it's so funny, right? We got 36 viewers. How many viewers did that Gucci sweater wearer guy get? Why? I constantly ask these questions and I never understand the answer to it. But I do believe that these live format shows, they don't work um, to the degree that I was hoping that they would work. So anyway, that's a bit of a sad commentary. I might even do less of these live shows going forward and do more of the sort of pre-recorded videos. They seem to work much better on YouTube and stuff. And then that way we can edit out me swearing and stuff like that. And, Google and all those people get happier and stuff. But anyway. So, what's my life? My life, like literally for the past 10 years, and I don't have a problem with this. I mean, this is the path that I believe Spirit has put me on. But basically, I just said what I simply do here is I reach out and try and help all of you as best as I can. And then I spend the rest of my time trying to help Liam. That's about it. That's all I do. And it's so important for you to all understand this. Nobody has a crystal ball in this world. Nobody. And clearly, it's as plain as day obvious. Especially, Gucci sweater wearers. How are they doing right now? Eh? I mean, nobody has a crystal ball. So really, all I'm going to do is I'm just going to try and teach you what's, and we don't even reinvent the wheel here at TRI. That's so important for you to understand, is that there's countless humans, and the market itself really hasn't changed a hell of a lot, like in thousands of years. I might make the argument that the same bankster crooks that are trying to all screw us over, great reset, all that, they're the same bankster crooks that used to be the money changers that Jesus Christ himself got angry about for taking advantage of pilgrims coming to just try and pay their tithe to the Jewish church, the temple, 2,000 years ago. And these goddamn money changers are screwing people over right inside the temple because they don't have silver shekels or whatever the coin was that they had to pay their tithe in. And so the money changers would literally fuck them over with exchange rate. Oh, what a surprise. They're doing exactly the same business model here today. Nothing changes. It's exactly the same. It's this goddamn idiot that I was showing you. How the hell does this guy get this fat? Do you know how many of us he had to eat to get this fat? And why isn't somebody at the World Economic Forum or something going, you're not really the best face for us publicly? I mean, is this not the image of gluttony? I mean, how ironic that this guy is the face for the banking industry. Yeah, well, and Frogsy. Actually, I haven't seen you in a long time. So actually interesting that you point that. But do you see how the banksters and the priests are basically the same as the way the banksters and our local governments now work in cahoots? And what I find fascinating, of course, is that we're supposed to have government by the people. And so what ends up happening is anytime a public representative who actually is thinking about the best interest of the people comes along and says, you know what, we're going to clean up the system and we're going to make it work for the people. All of a sudden, mysteriously, they just so happen to have a bullet that happens to end up pointed in their direction and accidentally penetrate their body. And if they're really lucky, they survive. But if they're not lucky, that's the end of them. And you can go through, I've talked to you all about how I actually absolutely love the United States of America and the dream of a constitution, which I hate to say it, folks, but this jerk right here, he's trying his absolute best to get rid of that world, get rid of things like constitutions, because they don't serve the banksters' interest whatsoever. And now that they've got us all living in this horrific world of debt, the Constitution's basically thrown right out the window, which is so tragic. So anyway, that's a terrible rant that, of course, isn't going to score me a lot of points with Google algorithms and stuff like that. Okay, not quite sure how I got off on that tangent. Sorry, everybody. Brian gets all emotional about this, but I mean, every single day I just come in and it's the same message every single time. I don't have any conflict of interest. I'm just going to try and teach you how to behave in the marketplace. If you listen to me, there's more money than you can possibly ever need in this world. Like I said, I mean, I'm sitting on, I'd easily say $1 million. And ironically enough, I bitch and complain about having to pay like a couple grand a month for rent. And I actually live a pretty comfortable life. So I don't have anything to complain about whatsoever, but I think as long as I just keep doing what Spirit has asked me to do for the rest of my days here, the more important thing is I will stand in front of my maker when all is said and done, and I don't have any regrets and I don't have any embarrassments. Because keep in mind, I mean, I had a beautiful soul that was laid in my arms and I let her slip through my fingers, and I will carry that to my grave. There's nothing I can do about it. Poor dear. So, if this is how I spend the rest of my life, just trying to help you people, then so be it. So unfortunately, you know what that does mean, though, is it means that when I don't think it's in your best interest to do something and go and risk your hard-earned money in the marketplace, I'm going to say that to you. I think I have to try and learn to be a little bit nicer about my criticism of the public acting very much like the way the public does, and the very cliche nature about how they just get stupidly arrogant, and especially these young men. Oh, young men are the worst. They will literally they will turn to violence if you're just like, you're really acting irresponsible here. You're setting up your audience, and you're setting up your, these people that pay you tons of money to learn how to manage money. You're setting them up for failure here. Somehow I have to learn what is the language that you use to talk to Gucci sweater wearers. And when I say Gucci sweater wearers, do you all understand what I'm making reference to? If you need something to look at ALB in the stock market on a weekly time frame, oh, that's good. Well, weekly W's, Gordon. I don't know whether you're one of my students, but yeah, I would imagine the irony of it all. If everyone acted the way the TRI way, the market would cease to exist. Yeah, interesting point, the Matador. And actually, this is something that I did see on social media. And since we do these shows for about an hour and a half, like, I don't know how the hell this is. I've been blabbing away here for 45 minutes. Have I, this past 45 minutes, did I share anything of any value with you guys? I sure hope so. But I did see on social media, and I kind of like this, that we should maybe, Chris, I'll put you to work. I wonder if we could maybe on YouTube actually create like little sort of polls. And we just maybe take polls of the audience, and then that way we could be a little bit more interactive with the audience. Do you think Bitcoin's going to go up, down, so unchanged over the coming week? Or, do you think Mr. Gensler should buy a toupee? It's kind of a mean line, sorry, etc. All right. Well, there are a couple people there that say we're valued here. So unfortunately, I think we're still in one of those environments where I don't think it's actually in your best interest to get too aggressive here. This is, I said earlier that, my big job is to try and instill behavioral patterns on you. Good behavior, I should say. And I often make reference to my old mentors and bosses and stuff in the audience, or in the world, in my history. It would be really cool after I pass if I look down and I actually see that you guys, I think once I pass, then I think a lot of the teachings and the stuff that I bark about will actually become more sort of ingrained in people's thinking. I was really impressed where a guy who I thought was a fairly well respected in this space goes just out of the blue on a video social media interview. He goes, "Well, I base everything that I do in the market on this guy called Brian Beamish." And it was like, whoa, what the hell did he just say? So, but the problem is that that what I'm going to suggest is often not popular, and it's not very it's not the fun thing to do. So we do have we've been working so hard trying to get this thing going over the years. We do have it back up and running again, so it's good to see. I don't know whether I really like the idea of people blindly just taking trades off of the signals. And I spent a good portion of time over the past week trying to put into context for the paying site members how I would suggest you use this information in your trading. And I really like the idea of using the crypto breadth as your second rule for investing. If you want to use your own choice of technical indicators on your particular asset, but I definitely like the breadth as an indicator confirmation of that sort of trade setup process. And you can clearly see when it comes to crypto, we are very oversold. We are basically on our knees. You don't get to see this on these weekly shows, but if you actually come to the website, we have a histogram image that basically illustrates both short and medium term overbought and oversold conditions, and based off of this breadth data. And I have been barking to our audience that we're actually now in a position here in the marketplace where this is exactly what you want to see if you are considering stepping in and investing your hard-earned money in the marketplace, which is ironic, eh? Completely contrarian, 100% contrarian. And actually, I was even having a conversation in the lounge this weekend, but I also saw a couple of videos about this too. It turns out, and there's one guy in particular, God, I can never remember these people's names. I want to say George Gammon. Does that sound right, Chris? Does that sound right? He's the guy who goes, I'll explain what's happening in 3 easy steps on my whiteboard.
That's
Is that his name? Gammon?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, George Gammon.
And he even put out a fun little video that I saw while surfing through YouTube the other day, where he says, you want to know when the stock market top's going to come in? Is when everybody turns bullish. And everybody's talking about how wonderful things are. And then you want to know when a stock market bottom comes in, you should buy. Well, that's when everybody's bearish, and when everybody's selling and they think it's the end of the world. And so, ironically enough, you can just go on YouTube, just get sort of a barometer reading of how many people are bullish and how many people are bearish. Do you see all these people going, oh, you got to get in, Ethereum's the next best thing since sliced bread. Oh, Bitcoin's going to get you rich. You got to buy it now. Those are your warning signs that you better stay the hell away. And then conversely, if everybody's moaning and groaning about how bad everything is, well, ironically enough, that's actually the time to buy. So this tool, this histogram, is a beautiful indicator for that. And whenever you have the short term and the medium term both go into heavily oversold condition, as you can see that crypto is right now, well, folks, ironically enough, this is your sign that Gucci sweater wearers, they're long gone. And I would imagine quite a few people who bought, paid him very sizable amounts of money to learn how to circle Bitcoin on a whiteboard, which I never understood at all. They're probably demanding their money back. And I do see that interestingly enough, I do see that there are some people even at TRI, some new people that are kind of like, hey, I was promised riches and I want my money back. It's like, okay, fine. I don't really have a problem with that. But yeah, anyway, it is what it is. So ironically enough, I'm actually getting signals here that the market is getting nice and washed out. But at the same time, too, should I just go and buy the market just basically because my indicators are indicating that the market is washed out? Well, I don't think it's as easy as that. We always say that there's 3 reasons that you should justify taking a trade. And what is reason number 1? And it's like the same. There's 3 reasons and actually, how does it go? There's three words in real estate. And if you know what those 3 words in real estate are, then you know what the reason number 1 in Brian's 3 reasons to justify taking a trade. It's the same damn word. Thank you, Kevin. And if you don't learn this, you're setting yourself up for trouble. So interestingly enough, with the breadth indicator flashing the warnings that it is, we pull up our, I follow sort of a matrix of all the names that I'm interested in, and lo and behold, you can see, they are all on their knees right now. So we're definitely coming in. What? I don't know about that, Matador. You must be one of those Bitcoin maxis. But I do see a lot of charts are going from the upper left to the lower right now. So we are working our way back down. If anything, this is a good sign. I caution people that things like render, for example, this is actually kind of risky when you start seeing all these M's up here at the top end of the range here. This is risky stuff, folks. Don't sugarcoat it. This is dangerous. Coming in and just blindly, I heard great things about render, and of course, NVIDIA is going to the moon. I'm going to come in and buy up here. Who can tell me? There was one gentleman who lived about 100 years ago, and I think the answer was on that little text box, so I'll take it off the screen. But let's see if you guys know the answer to this. But he would say you should at any time expect markets to trade at least their 50% retracement of their previous 52-week range. So you can even, and consider this this show half a quiz show and half edutainment. So, all right, Mr. Unknown, nailed it, Mr. WD Gann. So, and of course, Brian loves his reload zones. Of course, I did this off a log scale and freaked everybody out recently. I mean, we'll just keep this on regular scale and not freak you out. But, where is Brian going to want to buy? And, I would love to invest in a name like this, but I'm just not allowed to if it's not in my reload zones, right? I can start thinking about buying at $5.62. But really, you all know. In fact, actually, this was super cool. I love this. And I think I'm going to use this from now on. So, my first sort of rendition of this course and teaching, I used to call the 78.6 the line in the sand. Because that's usually markets love to bottom off of this. Negative price. I want them to pay me to actually take the coins off their hands. Good point, Eddie. Hey, Eddie, speaking of which, where the hell I no offense, but you're kind of a ghost now, which is a little bit bothering. But you still got those USDT or UST coins, the Luna coins? I've been thinking about you watching that silly Luna thing do its thing. Anyway, I would love for you to maybe say hi one of these days. Wondering what happened to you. Anyway, good to see that you're over there. Construction works. Oh, what the hell does that mean? You're working on a construction site? Oh. Actually, I said before that I was going to put myself on mute when I blow my schnoz, so sorry about that. I forgot. Anyway, 78.6, I used to call this the line in the sand or the lits. Then, actually it became much more popular with the public. I just simply called this BFF or Brian's favorite fib. And actually, a lot of people actually seem to be attracted to that more than the line in the sand. I mean, both of them are perfectly fine. I absolutely love buying off of 78.6. And I might even argue that if you want to just pick a nice, simple level that you are allowed to participate, you are allowed to buy. If you weren't in before, this is the absolute perfect level. And it doesn't matter if it's a Bitcoin, IBM. In fact, actually, I'm trying to buy Intel right now, big US semiconductor, basically at the same level. I've found time and time again, markets love to bottom off of this 78.6. And, just think about it really simply. Keep it really, really simple for yourself. Oh, you're renovating your house. All right. Just do you see the market correct 80%? If you see an 80% correction over a 52-week range, that's probably a good location. And again, if I'm going to run a fund, this becomes religion in the fund. Not allowed to invest unless I see a market down in the reload zone and, more importantly, around the line in the sand. What was really fun was, of course, we have Julian, one of our partners at TRI, who is like, I really love 88.6. So I was like, all right, well, let's call this the JFF. And that stands for Julian's favorite fib. I don't have a problem with that. And interestingly enough, I think there was a name that he was looking at in his show. I can't remember the name in particular, but in essence, it was just a double bottom right off this level, and we'll call this the setup that we have on the site. If you get previous market structure that develops off 78.6, we call that the shark setup. And I like the idea that if we get a double bottom market structure off of 88.6, we're going to call that now the tie shark setup. So I don't know. We'll see what happens. But I kind of like that. Market structure off of 88.6. I mean, when you look at this name here, this is actually really simple. If it gets down into anywhere between, let's say, I don't know, $2.5, $3.5, I'll go in there and I'll buy some myself. We keep it simple, stupid. Don't want to overthink this. Now, if I had bought off of these bottoms and this structural level, then I better make damn sure. Really good example of that sell half on a double. I mean, kind of a fun concept that we learned over the past cycle is this chaos theory. So we could use chaos theory levels. Actually, be interesting to see whether we hit that 877 on the bar chart. Oh, I guess maybe can we just go? Yeah, there we go. Boom, there we go. Oh yeah, look at that. Isn't that incredible how that happens? God damn it. So if you want to come and learn chaos theory, I don't know anybody else on the internet that teaches chaos theory. I'm like the only guy. So I mean, God, there's got to be some marketing material in that. The only person that's going to teach you how to trade chaos theory. And I mean, look at these freaking levels. You tell me, was that level relevant? Did the market have to maybe take a bit of a pause? A little bit of chaos came into the price. Geez, let's try this again. At 2.618, I'd say that was pretty relevant. All right, well, how about 4.669? Did chaos come into the market at that level? Gee whiz, look at that, eh? And now 877. Oh, hello. Isn't that remarkable? And nobody teaches this shit. Nobody. Except for silly old Brian. I should take this completely off, scrub it entirely from the site and say, okay, you want to learn chaos theory? That's $5,000. And I will stand up on a whiteboard and I will go chaos. And I will take my magic marker and I will draw a circle around it. But I'll also even teach you how to draw the levels and how to actually use them in the trade process. So what a bonus, eh? Dead Gucci man. I'm gonna get myself fucking assassinated here by those guys, eh? Right. At least I don't use proper names. Hopefully, most people in the world are like, "What the hell is he referring to? Gucci sweater wear." I don't even think Gucci sweater wearer even knows who the hell I am. And let's keep it that way. But damn, this is like stone cold. That's ridiculous. Oh goodness, drive you crazy. Anyway. So I guess just the point I'm trying to make here is, and actually this is an interesting testament too of chaos theory, but I don't want to get into talking about that today. P.S. If we lose these levels, next stop, we'll probably have to come right back down to 2.618. So anyway, so if I had not bought here, and then of course if I had bought here, and that's at $2.70. Well, what should I be doing at what, like $5.50 right in here? And maybe you're like, well, Brian, this is crypto, so maybe let's sell half on a triple. I mean, that you're starting to get into greedy territory after doubles, but I can completely understand that. But for God's sakes, what should you be doing on this move up top here? Anyone, please. And the answer is not buy more. That's just stupidity. And like I said, I said about it, I don't know, half an hour ago or something. You can't predict the future. You don't know what's going to happen here. We're all statisticians. So what you have to do is you just have to live by what's the statistical probability of things happening. And I hate to say it, but I even put a tweet out the other day. This was such a perfect tweet. because it is basically everything that we do. The good part about it, eventually, if we can get to it, that's sort of your happy ending part of this conversation. Any happy endings out there for people these days? Actually, I heard, what did I hear? Donald Trump is now going to make it so that people that work in Nevada don't have to declare tips. Oh man, it's going to be a lot of happy endings in Nevada these days. But I also heard another thing about sex workers, I think in Asia or something like that. Anyway, lots of happy endings around there. But I put out a tweet about this Ethereum, that, this is a pretty textbook top. Very, very textbook. I mean, almost cliche. And unfortunately, people, especially if you're bullish and you're long and you're, shooting for the moon and stuff, they don't want to hear this message. But, the sad part about it is that, this is cliche. This is the way this crap goes. What the hell's the damn tweet? And it's pretty recent that I did this. Where are you? Yeah, I guess it was here. So, there's never any guarantees in this. We're statisticians by trade. I mean, just get used to it. That is what we do. The odds are fairly tilted in the bear's favor when you see this kind of price pattern, especially an M in a reload zone. I mean, come on. And there's your end result. I mean, down goes price. So it's not really like, I mean, somebody might say, well, oh yeah, you're doing the crystal ball thing here. And it's no, I'm not doing the crystal ball because I can show you M's. Like I got stopped out on a Bitcoin M on their futures. And maybe that's a function of Chicago fucking around with the futures market just because they can. But I even tweeted out here that, sometimes these M's you get stopped out on. So right here, this was a piss off because it's such a pretty M. They rallied right into the Fed meeting. They ran the stopped me out, and then boom, took price straight down. So I mean, nothing's guaranteed in this business, but especially on this like Ethereum chart, there were so many reasons to look for a top there that like statistically it just became overwhelming. You just had to expect price was going to come off. I don't know whether price will continue heading down. One rule that I have is I don't really like to see winning trades turn into losing trades. So if the market does move to 50% of my anticipated move, at the very least, I have to move my stop to scratch. So if this market does come ratcheting back, I will just get stopped at scratch. It's just a trader's life. That's what you got to do. And I actually did have that happen on Bitcoin here recently because I'm getting, and actually, this is not a bad segue, especially when I see the momentum indicators, and that's our breadth indicator looking the way that it is here. I don't know whether I really want to get uber bearish here. That's not what I want to show you over here. When the indicator is looking like this, I don't know whether I want to strap on new shorts. It's kind of asking for trouble. But at the same time, too, there's a huge difference between, putting on new shorts or taking shorts off and actually going and buying and actually putting on like leverage long positions. Huge, huge difference, folks. Please understand that. So right now, my sort of bent is this market is expensive. But keep in mind, we've got some pretty big sharks in the capitalist world promoting this story right now. So it doesn't surprise me, in years gone by after these halvening events, you could easily see the price of Bitcoin fall like 30, 40, 50%. And in 2016, that's exactly what happened. So the fact that we did have, and it's a fairly sizable dump. I mean, it was a good 25% or so from the peak. But the fact that we sort of stopped here and then we worked our way right back up against the top end of the range, it kind of leads me to believe that we're in a trading range here. And, Fink or whatever that guy's name is, I don't think he really wants to see his darling now. I would even say that he's basically taken over the Bitcoin story, which is scary. I mean, half of the reason why people are involved in Bitcoin was to get out of the system, but now the system basically owns Bitcoin. So the one good part about that, of course, is that they've got the shill going. You saw what Fink did with Tesla stock and the whole ESG movement, which is a total load of horse shit. I mean, oh, by the way, we're supposed to be in global warming here right now, right? I mean, that was the narrative under Al Gore, and we're all supposed to be like underwater. Current temperature in Vancouver, BC. Keep in mind, it's basically the summer solstice right now. What the fuck? What a load of horse shit. This ESG thing is a complete con job. And it was from day one. Disgusting what these bastard idiots have done to us. So, I mean, this is supposed to be like the hottest point of the year, the summer solstice. If anything, this is actually normal. This is exactly what's supposed to happen. And if anybody who lives in Vancouver knows that the middle of June is usually a shitty time of year. There's an old joke. One of the coldest winters I ever spent was a summer in San Francisco. So, I mean, nothing's changing here. It's the same old crap. I mean, and ironically enough, I think that, did you know? I mean, this is total tangent shit. But if you were in a spaceship and you actually drove up to the planet Earth, like, I don't know, 200 million years ago, which of course in the age of the universe is a flash in the pan. Actually, maybe it might have been 300 or 400 million years ago, but still, I mean, the universe is 13 billion years old. I mean, geez, that's nothing. The Earth was pink. There was no blue marble. It was pink. And the air was filled with sulfuric acid, oh damn, I can't even remember the compound, but it was excreted by all the squids that lived in the oceans, and the atmosphere was totally unbreathable for mammals and oxygen living animals. So I don't even think the Earth, the planet itself, it even gives. Probably the planet would be happy to get rid of this cancerous human species. That's like I said, almost a cancer for the planet versus anything else. But I don't think the planet really cares. And we just got completely conned by all these damn, environmental nonsense. I mean, where the hell is Greta these days? She's like vanished, eh? Why? Because it's not in Fink's best interest to promote that story, because he's taken profits on that Tesla. And, the irony of it all is I can show you the exact date that he basically said, oh, we're not interested in ESG. It's something for governments to deal with. We have no comment. And literally the day after that, Tesla stock literally started its 1 year correction here, where it's lost like 70% of its value. I mean, it's just disgusting. And how ironic, I mean, geez, I suppose we could have a whole rant about Tesla. I mean, that story is so freaking corrupt. But if you look at Doofus has gone and now jammed through some absolutely insane pay package for himself now that the stock has absolutely been destroyed. And of course, people are like, oh, God, we need you to bring the stock back. We're all dying 1,000 deaths. And he's kind of like, well, I'm only going to do it unless you approve some absolutely ungodly pay package. But keep in mind, folks. I mean, this is what, just a year and a half ago? I guess a couple of years ago. But I mean, where are we now? Whoops, that's not going to work. Do you hear anybody saying, "Excuse me, sir, Can you please give back, 60% down from its peaks here? Can you please reimburse me for the destruction that you've caused in my portfolio because of all your stupid games? And then, of course, like I said, I think it was right here that Fink basically said, oh, no, none of that's really of any concern to us anymore. Why? Well, of course, oh, what a surprise. He was selling right onto that event right there and getting out of the story. And I don't know, has that Beamish guy ever told you, what are you supposed to think if you ever see the market smiling at you? So this is somebody actually trying to help you, keep you out of trouble. Would it have been a good idea when you saw that smile come in? Would it have been a good idea to go, you know what? Maybe I just better stay the hell away from this story. Boom. And no offense, but I don't see any bottom here. I don't see any reason why anybody should be getting uber bullish of this thing just yet. If anything, what we need to see, I mean, this is a concept that we teach at the school, key reversal. Nobody in the market teaches this. I don't know, you tell me. Would it have been wise for you to pay attention to that key reversal that just so happened to come in right off of the original market structure level? And I mean, this is what now a solid year of these people just dying 1,000 deaths here, just one low after another low after another low after another low. And and Allen himself is basically kind of, what's the word that you would use? Extorting, maybe even borderline blackmail. You either approve some absolutely insane pay package. I think he wants like something like $50 billion pay package. And then he'll actually start getting interested in promoting the Tesla story and getting to work to give this thing some value again. Oh God, the corruption is just disgusting. It's awful. Absolutely awful. Anyway, hopefully at the very least, what you took away from that is, if I ever see the market smiling at me, maybe I ought to better just cool my jets. Do you see any W's yet here? I don't see any W's. So anyway, sorry to head off on that tangent for a bit, but I think that's probably educational for everybody. So, if we're looking at breadth of the market, I will say that the crypto space is very washed out right now. And if anything, we should be going through the process. How many reasons do we need to have to justify taking a trade? Let's see if we can do a little bit of interaction with the audience here. Thank you, Kevin. What did we say was reason number one? Do we have names that actually have come down into yeah. And if anything, so somebody says there, Kathy Woods thinks Tesla could go up to $3,500. Hell, I think Bitcoin could go to $50 million a coin. Okay, great. Everybody's entitled to their own opinion. Have I ever said that anybody is not entitled to an opinion? Now, this is a really good lesson for you, unknown. Was Kathy Woods popular when we were going through all that sickness world? And it was an absolute fucking train wreck in our society because they were just throwing free money at the market. And things like Kathy Woods became rock stars. How's that Kathy Woods doing these days? This, if anything, is a really good lesson that, everybody's entitled to an opinion. And is there a country in the world, well said. The irony of it all is what is this right here? Who can tell me? Actually, there is a very specific name to this formation. So who can tell me? This would be a really good quiz. I want to learn something from watching this crazy rant that this guy does for. Oh, geez, it's already 20 after 12. Fuck me. God damn it. This time goes by so quickly. I gotta move on here. Sorry. I could spend an hour just talking to you unknown about this chart. There's a lot of really interesting things about this. Well, specific name, it is a VTOP, correct, Adam, but very specific name. See how it gapped higher and then gapped lower? That actually is a very specific price pattern, and it's called an island top. But by definition, what do we say about these gaps? Is there something that we usually say about these price gaps? Well, and looking at this price chart, wouldn't you call Kathy a degen? Well, you can't say always unknown. It sucks. You're never, ever, ever allowed to say always in the market. You're never allowed to say that. It sucks, but very good. Eddie? Yeah, of course, Eddie. What a fucking rock star. No. They actually they get filled, like Eddie says there, unknown. I don't know whether you're aware of this or not, but it is something that we teach in our education program. Level 2, a little bit more advanced. What's the statistical probability that this gets filled in? It's like a 91% probability that that gap gets filled in. Now, what is going to get this stock up to the point where it actually does fill in this gap? Well, considering it is a stock that owns other stocks, then it must be that we're going to go through and, oh, was this a happy-go-lucky normal market state? Something around March of 2020? And then what the economy did through this event to actually cause the price of this asset to go like this? So this is a perfect analogy that, well, no, it was absolute stupidity. There's some fucking US politician here that came out and said, I will sacrifice my life to save capitalism, which of course the bankster crooks, right? The capitalists, they keep in mind, we had lots of stories at TRI right here about, Bill Gates selling all of his stock, Jeff Bezos selling all of his stock, blah, 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 blah. So they all knew something big was coming down the pike. Then the politicians come out with stupid statements like, Jerry comes out and says, you got to approve like, trillions of dollars of money printing. And very well said, Kevin. And they took interest rates to zero. And so they printed a ton of money. They locked everybody in their prison cells and basically gave them blank checks, stimmies, whatever. You remember that whole fucking screwed up environment? And so as a result, these things went absolutely apeshit stupid. But the irony of it all is just the same logic that we had about this top and island tops and gaps. You can make the same logical argument about this bottom. V tops should be, and Adam said this perfectly, V top should be what? And of course, I'm wasting more time. I got to get to the Q&A here. I could teach a whole damn course just off of this one chart. V top should be tested. Write that down, Kevin. You don't know that. Write it down. All the OGers, right, are like, oh yeah, tested. Anybody who doesn't know this, write this down. Well, that's a gap. I'm talking about the price action. This is a V, right? Straight up, straight down. This is a V as well, straight down, straight up. So if we, by definition, say that V tops should be tested, then by definition, V bottoms should be tested. Is that correct? YouTubers, quick. All right, so what happened here? What happened here? That is the testing of this V bottom. That's how this shit works. So by definition, Since that's a V top, and we know 91% of the time this gap should be filled in, if this fund survives, and if somebody doesn't come along and assassinate Kathy because they lost, $100 million listening to this stupidity. Do you see now this one chart? Do you see why you cannot chase? Don't chase. This is the absolute number one perfect example why you cannot chase these up markets, and why I get so angry at the Gucci sweater wearers. Because where do they come in with their courses on how to make $1 million investing in ARK? They come in right here and they write ARK on a whiteboard, circle it, and say $5,000, please. Thank you very much. This is the way this stupid game goes. It doesn't matter whether it's this mutual fund, which frankly speaking, ironically enough, the price performance, this is exactly what I would expect out of a mutual fund. This is the way the shit works. It's so cliche, it's ridiculous. And then as Adam said, oh, gee whiz, what do we have happening here? That kind of looks like W's. And then if we change this to like a monthly price chart, and the higher the time frame you have, the bigger the W. Well, clearly. And what did we say the first reason for investing is? What was that first reason? Brian's getting all excited. I mean, I could sit here and I could talk this shit all day long, So, I mean, let's throw on. Do you see how Adam's monthly W's are coming in? Didn't some idiot here just a few minutes ago go, oh, gee whiz, if there's this level that if it trades to it, God, it just seems like every single time I ever see this happen in the marketplace, the goddamn market bottoms. Have you ever heard? And I even said it today to you. Do you see how, V bottoms need to be tested? That sure was tested. I mean, the irony of it all is, as they were running this damn thing up here, you could have very easily come out in the public, and oh, by the way, I did. You could very easily come out in the public and go, that's a V bottom and it will need to be tested at some point down the road. And boom. So anyway, the point here is, should it surprise any of you after this long rant, look at where this goddamn bottom came in. Down, up, down, breakout, W, Merry fucking Christmas. And look at the level that it came in off of. This is ridiculous. Do you see how cliche this is? And we just like randomly, somebody, who was it? Somebody just randomly made reference to Kathy Woods and ARK, and I pulled this up here, and it's like everything that we teach you here. Isn't that insane? Yeah, the irony of it all is that I would actually, exactly, why? You would think that more you would think there are more people in the market. And what kills me is that, do you hear anybody on the interneting doing what I just did for the past hour and a half here? And I just walked everybody through this. So the irony of it all is that we have a trade location. We always say candle body hose or lows for candle body hose. Might even remember that going forward. Candle body hose for trade location. 78.6, right? We called that, of course, the BFF, Brian's favorite fib. In the level 1 course, all you level 1ers, right? We call this the line in the sand. I suppose you could even make the argument that Julian even got his level here. Look at that, JFF. Now, you would have had balls of freaking steel to try and actually just pull the trigger off that 88.6 level. But damn, what a level there, right? I think that, to be honest with you, just trading these levels blindly, I think that's a little bit too difficult for new people to trading. But there's no reason whatsoever. In fact, Adam, when you're talking to Jim and Liz, this is a really good example. I can't remember what their daughter's name was, but this is a really good example where Jim and Liz and their granddaughter, who was special needs, they should just go and like literally buy 100 shares of this damn thing, throw it in like a Roth IRA or something like that, and just forget about it. Right. If I was back in my I'm a official financial advisor, stockbroker, blah, blah, blah. In Canada, they're called RRSPs. That would basically be the message. And how ironic. If I went out into the public, well, I just did top of the range, bottom end of the range. This to me looks like the bottom end of the range. If I went out into the public and I said, oh yeah, you know what, Kathy Woods is a really good buy right now, how many people in the public would be like, Kathy Woods, are you kidding me? Did you see what her fund did? I'd never invest in that bitch again. And yet the irony of it all is actually that's where you should buy it. And Chris is trying to tell me, Brian, you're running out of time here. So let's get on to the Q&A document. And let's try and bring some value into at least these level oneers live. And now you can see why these videos don't do very well, because I'm just so scatterbrained. Oh well. What do you think? Can I get some feedback from the 50 of you that are watching? Are you getting any value out of this broadcast? Do you feel as though this is a good use of your time? Where the hell where's the Q&A document? It's not here. Where do I put it? Where's Chris? Hey, Zach sent me a message. Chris, where are you, Chris? And where is AMA document? AMA. And of course, if I run out of time, it seems to be it works fairly well that on Monday, the after party show, that's usually a show that I do on my own. We can circle back around and look at these questions. Okay, let's zoom down to today. Geez, look at that. We've been doing this document now for a good year and a half. Come on. Are you going to scroll? Where are you? Oh God, no. What have I done? All right. All right. Let's see what we got here. Oh, 3 questions. All right. So happy chicken day, Brian. All right. In my trading plan, I decided I was going to buy assets like Render, Akash at the 78.6 level. All right. But I see there is some notches in the volume profile closer to the 88.6. How can I tell somebody's getting a little bit better? They always say a little bit of information is a dangerous thing. So now somebody's a volume profile aficionado. Just curious where you think the best, most realistic place to buy on the fib retracement would be. Thank you, Preston. Okay, so does it make sense that, Preston, you are looking at trade location tools? All right, that's good feedback. Alion says, I love your broadcast. Always too busy working to join the chat, so I lurk and I learn. Nice. I'm doing where's my buddy Cheryl? Cheryl once said a year or two ago that she was trying to teach her son how to be a good investor. And the two of them watch these videos together. And that's exactly what JoJo wanted me to do when she came to me and she said, Brian, you have the potential to make a real positive difference in this world. She never said I was going to, but she said I had the potential. And ironically enough, most of the positive difference that I'm making in this world, I'll probably never see. It is happening, and we're doing a good thing. So I think about Cheryl and I think about her trying to make a difference in her son's life. And hopefully that's sort of the same thing as you, Ayun. I don't know whether I'm pronouncing your name correctly. If I'm not, my apologies. Just trying to make a positive difference in this world. Rants and all. Okay, how many reasons do we have to justify taking a trade? Can we'll do this fairly quickly here, peeps, because we're running out of time here. No, I don't. Yeah, I don't eat that crap. And I mean, I'm 50 plus years old. I'm not allowed to eat McDonald's anymore. That stuff's garbage. But Lily loves it. He lives for that fucking McDonald's garbage. So, awesome, Gog. Love to hear that. Gog, interesting name. Okay, quick, like a bunny. How many reasons are we supposed to have just by taking a trade? And where does this person, what reason are they thinking about in particular here? Let's all work together to help. Oh, wow. 25 chat posts. Oh, you guys are busy. And it's only me and Chris. What the hell? Oh, we've got Ed in here and we've got Glass Insights. All right, Glass Insights. Mr. Insights, you're probably answering all my questions perfectly. What do you think, Mr. Insights? Have you gotten yep, there he's like, location. Quick, come on, YouTubers. Don't let me down here, right? The whole point of this is to be interactive. So I need you guys paying attention. How many reasons do we have to justify taking a trade? I've asked you about 4 or 5 times, and I know the point here is I've got to get this through to the point where you guys hear my voice in the sleep. All right, good. 3 reasons justify taking a trade. And where do things like fibs and things like volume profile notches, where do they fall in those 3 reasons? Thank you, Ed. Of course, Eddie will get it. Good PM, right? These are location reasons, but Preston, do you understand that you can't finish the trade hunting process at that? Now, I'm going to say this as politely as possible, and please don't be insulted by this. If you want to take sort of the lazy approach to investing, then you say, all right, I will leave it at location. And let's see if YouTube audience here can actually check in with me here. But if I'm going to take the very simplest approach and, okay, I just want to think about location, then what kind of investor, what type of risk taker am I? Everybody should know this. And then by definition, based on that type of risk taker, that dictates how much money you can actually put into the idea on a regular basis. And actually, in that is relative to the overall size of your portfolio. All right. So if you want to leave this, good to see a couple of you got this. If you want to leave the conversation at just nothing more than a little old lady and trade, I screwed that up, and leave it at trade location, then I think 78.6s are fine. And you're kind of like, well, there's some notches down at 88.6. Well, in that case, why not sprinkle some bids? And by definition, if you're just leaving the conversation at trade location, then you're going to be sprinkling your bids. And, what is the maximum risk relative to the size of the stake that you're working with that you can put into a name if you're a little old lady? And you can leave the conversation just at trade location. Excellent. Arborea? Am I pronouncing your name correctly? Arborea? Hit the like button. Jeez, I haven't even seen how many likes. If you guys are all like, oh yeah, this is awesome value here. Can you all please hit the like button and subscribe and ring our bell and all that kind of fun stuff? It helps us out greatly. Good, 5%. Good. So by definition, are we ever going to throw all 5% in on one trade, one order? Would we ever do that? Is that a good idea? No, and no. So maybe throw in Preston a bid at like 1% of your stake at 78.6. Maybe throw in another bid for another 1% at 88.6. Yeah, that's what we call nibbling, right? Nanny nibbles, all that kind of fun stuff. So that's the way that I would answer your question. That's interesting. Something just went gurgle in my kitchen. Hope I don't walk out there to a disaster. So if you're a little old lady, then all right. And what I would just simply say is you're in there sprinkling bids, and why not do both? Maybe like a 0.5% of your stake at this level, then another 0.5% at this level, and maybe even throw in a few more bids, just really small, no hurry. And then maybe down the road, you start to see things like indicator confirmation, reason number 2. If you wanted to use the TRI algo, I only buy when I see the algo telling me that the public is getting absolutely destroyed. When I see the public getting destroyed, I start getting interested. Now, if you want to, and this would make this even cooler, what's the concept that we could potentially use with this breadth indicator, if you want to use the breadth, that will give you even more edge? Starts with a D. It's what I suggest everybody do when they look at their indicators. In fact, this Ethereum top, if I'm not mistaken, half of the reason why I was so bearish was because look at that bearish divergence. Willie stupid, right? You can see market was making higher highs. Indicator not even making anywhere new highs. Volume just completely disappeared here. So, I mean, beautiful bear div through here. Look at this divergence through here. Market making new highs. This is that exact same thing as that Kathy Woods. You're not allowed to chase here. This is exactly when Gucci sweater wearers are coming out and telling you to buy their course. Just you'll get rich. Just buy and you'll get rich. You want to take my course and throw some money at me because you're feeling so damn rich? Even better. Oh, God, what a joke. Anyway, so the point here is reason number, and this is a really good analogy, right? So reason number 1, trade location. Reason number 2, we have indicator confirmation. These things are all emming out and in divergence. There's no reason, if you like using the TRI algo, no reason why you couldn't just sit there and patiently wait for the algo to actually start spitting out W's. Where the hell's the damn picture? Nope, that's not it. Oh, anyway. If you are, come on, and this is half the reason why I fail at this, because I always lose the damn images. Anyway, so if you are beyond the stage of just being a little old lady, ooh, that's a nice one. Institutional fingerprint right up at the top end of the range. Good stuff. Usually that lines up nicely with reload zones. And I might argue you could even connect volume profile levels with fib levels, with institutional fingerprints. All that, all 3 of those concepts fall under which of the 3 reasons to justify taking a trade column. All of those, institutional fingerprint, fibs, volume profile notches, they all fall under one category of reasons to justify taking a trade. What category is that? Arborea, do you understand the question? Super important that you understand this. No, the answer is not market structure. Location. All right, moving on. The point here is once you have trade location, then you have indicator confirmation. It might be, I'm going to use MACD histogram, might be RSI, might be Willie's stupid, might be TRI's breadth indicator, might be the histogram when everything is pointing uber oversold. that's when I can start getting interested. I might argue that something like the histogram being overbought, oversold, that image again for you, just to show you again, was this, right? That scenario, minus 80 on the short term, minus 80 on the medium term. This is basically the same thing as something like Willie being stupidly overbought. I think it's very similar. So the point being, this happens to be on Ethereum itself. Interestingly enough, here, Willie's neither overbought nor oversold. So you're not really getting a clear reading out of that. Might be interesting to look at something like total, because this thing's been coming off. But let's see. Willie, not quite stupidly oversold yet. So I think there's still, and if I was, let's say total is the thing I was interested in. Looking at this, oh boy, we're actually still in a shorting location, not a buying location. So I couldn't even consider buying something like this. We just don't have trade location. Okay, hopefully, Preston, that helps. And then, of course, reason number 3 is market structure, right? We want W's. Remember, think Kathy Woods. I'm a mutual fund investor, so I look at monthly price charts. I actually think that this is a really good investor setup, right? Hell, are you going to hear Brian say something like, Adam, you should go and tell your next door neighbors that this is a good thing for them to invest in for their kids' future or their grandkids' future? I'm not going to talk that way off of like a 10-minute chart, even a daily chart. This is a monthly price chart, and this is a mutual fund, right? This is the kind of thing that you go and throw in your, for you Americans, in your Roth IRA. This is actually, in my opinion, not a bad idea whatsoever. We have trade location. Do we have, and actually it'd be interesting to see whether we got any indicator confirmation here of a bottom. Survey says, look at that divergence. Look how RSI, RSI got down to 30s, not really oversold. Willie got stupidly oversold on a monthly basis. W's coming in on all these indicators. Of course, that would have been like a Davo. And it's not a bad idea. Not a bad idea. And then finally, do we have price structure? Right? Sure enough, assets moving back out. Okay, so hopefully, Preston, that helps you, right? We'll say my answer will be you gave above awesome trade location reasons. And if you want to do LOL, we can leave it at that and sprinkle bids in at those levels. If you are not an LOL, then move on to step 2, indicator confirmation. And then once you have indicators confirming a bottom, move to step 3, market structure, and hunt a W, or we'll say candle pattern, to frame risk/reward for the trade setup. All right. Number 2, what time we got? Oh, I got 10 minutes left. All right, moving on. Hi, Brian. I'm confused at how leverage works on exchanges. Can you please explain how you use leverage in your trades and how you calculate your position size using leverage, etc.? Any insight on this would be appreciated. Thanks, David. Well, I mean, the interesting thing with futures, and of course, I would recommend that you all do futures contracts. Try and stay away from the forwards contracts. There is no legally binding agreement. Forwards often are on unregulated, unsupervised exchanges. And interestingly enough, even Mr. Gensler himself on that tweet that I made fun about him and what's his face jousting. He made some excellent points about crypto and these unregulated exchanges. Where was that? So if you really want to understand what exchanges do to you in this unregulated space, I would actually just take a moment and just listen to Mr. Gensler here. He does make absolutely excellent points as to the dangers of crypto. It is kind of funny that this clown was talking about how he has his own coin. And actually, I went and picked up a little bit of it just because I want some on the books. But in simplest terms, and really, if you're thinking about trading leverage, then I really would like for you to move on to the level 2 program, David, where we really go into detail about leverage and leverage trading through the futures markets. And so I think we give you a very, very good education, not only on how the futures markets work, the history of the futures markets, the transition from forwards to futures, and the transition of our society from unregulated. Remember in level 1, we talked to you about Jay Gould and the 19th century capitalism, how it was just absolutely ruthless. And frankly speaking, 19th, or I guess, yeah, well, 20th century? No, 19th century US stock market capitalism is basically exactly the same way that crypto is right now, especially if you go to exchanges like OKCoin. We used to call OKCoin the casino, and just understand that the exchanges themselves, they understand where your vulnerability is. So just think of it this way. Let's say I have a 10-to-1 leverage. And that means I put down $1 and I control $10 of the asset. It's just that simple. So that means, and keep in mind, they have like margin requirements. So let's say, for instance, you did 10-to-1 leverage, and you put down $1, and now I control $10 of the asset. That means that I borrowed $9. So, if the asset goes up in value, then that $1, the 10% margin requirement that I have to control the asset, that's safe. Keep in mind that the exchange itself, they never want to see their money that they lent you go negative. So that means that, like, instance, if price goes to $11, then the exchange still has their $9 safe, and you have now $2. Or you basically put $1 down, and now you have $2, or you just doubled your money. All right, we'll say, or a 100% return on your money. Woo! Right? You're the man, or woman, or houseplant, as the case may be. However, if price goes to $9, remember the exchange, then exchange still has their $9 safe that they lent you, but you have now 0 equity, or 100% loss of capital. And keep in mind, the exchange will never, ever want to see their $9 at risk. So right now, whoops, capital, I can't spell, capital. Oh, now it's capitals. How ironic. Capital. All right, I think we got that. Right now, you are just sitting right on the brink, right? The exchange is like, we don't want to see a negative for us. We lent you $9. So that means since the exchange never wants to lose money at that $9, you and your position are liquidated. Hopefully that makes sense. I think we'll probably put that there. And that's really how the leverage game goes. It's just that simple. You know, if price goes to $12, well, now you're up $2. Okay, and Eddie's also saying, keep in mind, Brian, this is just the raw capital. You have to take fees into account as well, which is so ironic, eh? So at $9, including fees, you might actually be what they call under margin. And if you are under margin, you're liquidated. So ironically enough, and we could even say, thank you, Eddie. Ironically enough, because of fees, you may actually be liquidated at what we'll say, what, $9.50, something like that. So commissions are paid. Because remember, these cocksuckers always want to get paid. So that's about, yeah, just let me know, David, if that explains leverage, but it's just that simple. All right. And yes, okay. I think I'm going to leave it at that. We've got 1 minute left, and let's just see what do we got here. Can you please have a look at this chart here and tell me if I did well identifying a divergence between the price and the RSI, and what do you think about my setup? All right, well, I should be able to do that. Let's see what we got. Okay, I don't even know where your divergences are. So the very first thing that you have to do is draw a line. And if you're doing a bullish divergence, then I want to see a line off of the lows on your indicator and a line off of the lows on your price chart. So if you had drawn a line off of these higher lows on your indicator and drawn a line off of these lower lows, which you kind of did here on your price chart, I would say, yes, you have identified a divergence. I would also like for you to draw and show me where the potential divergence translated into a confirmed divergence. So I don't even see any of that. I don't see any reference to divergence on your indicator. So how on earth am I supposed to tell you whether you've drawn this correctly or not? I don't see anything here. So what I want you to do, and please don't be offended. I have given you a couple notes. So watch the video, come back, redraw this, exactly what I said. Show me where it goes from potential to confirmed. I maybe it looks like maybe you've done something here. And if this is what you're doing, then I want you to zoom in on this. And this is a bearish divergence pattern that you're painting. So that means that this actually looks like a long setup that you've drawn here. And unfortunately for you, I would say this is very much wrong. What I want you to do, I just gave you a hint. So I did it through the video. I want you to get rid of all this. This is, in my opinion, this looks all wrong. Please don't be offended, but you just asked a question. I gave an answer. What I want you to do is I want you to focus on this area of your chart because I can clearly see the bullish divergence. I want you to paint what does the divergence look like, both on the price and the indicator, which I kind of think you did here. I need for you to be zoomed in way more on the chart than just this. This just isn't enough. And it's too far zoomed out. You need to be nice and zoomed in on this. So use this as an example. Show me where the divergence went from potential to confirmed. And then show me how you would go about the next step once the divergence was confirmed, hunting. It looks like you're hunting a long setup here. So tell me how you would have hunted that long setup off of this divergence. And I think the trade actually worked. So show me that while I'm out with Liam this afternoon. Come back, put the correct chart in here. What does that say? Karim, excuse me. And then let's circle back around. I will re-examine your chart tomorrow. And then I will go through and paint what that bull divergence and how the trade set up for you. And then we'll compare what you did and what I'm going to show you. And we'll do that in the after party tomorrow. Okay? All right. I think we got to leave it at that for today. So I'm going to say in video gave you specific directions, and we will review both your second attempt and what Brian was seeing slash trying to explain in Monday's after party. Okay. All right. What I will do also too, and let's make a note of it. Brian, please address questions from DB request room in Monday's after party as well. Okay, so I think we're going to leave the show at that today. Thank you very much for those best wishes. Really appreciate it, guys. It does make an awesome difference. And I hope you all got some good value out of the very extensive ranting today. I think I gave you some good information to work with. Slow and steady wins a race. I mean, the good part about it is all of you that have had patience and discipline, there really hasn't been a hell of a lot to do over the past couple months. We're now actually finally getting to the end of this seasonal crappy window. So my hunch is by sort of the middle of July, if you all have had patience and discipline, we should start getting back into the business of banging out doubles, etc. Still probably another couple weeks to go here. I wouldn't be in a huge hurry to quote unquote call bottoms just yet. So why don't we leave it at that? Have yourselves a great rest of your day. Thank you very much for the best wishes for Lily. Thank you very much, Eddie, for checking in with us. It's good to see you again. Would love to see you on the daily calls, but can completely understand if you're in the middle of construction. You have priorities, makes sense. Maybe if we're really lucky, you're even thinking about a place for Liam to stay when we visit over there. Who knows? All right. Have yourselves a great day. Chris, if you could take us on out of here, I would greatly appreciate it. Hugs and kisses. All the best. The only thing left for Brian to say to you good people is bye for now.